Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Trank. I'm the Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security Investigation for the state of Georgia. And behind me today, Homeland Security Investigations agents, along with ICE ERO, the FBI, DEA, ATF, CBP, U.S. Marshals, and Georgia State Patrol conducted a judicially authorized enforcement operation as we are actively conducting an investigation into unlawful employment practices going on at this massive multi-hundred acre construction site behind me. At this time, we are continuing the operation. Arrests are being made, and we will be providing additional details on the outcome of today's operation tomorrow morning. We thank the public for all of the thoughts as we conduct this operation. We have executed it exceptionally safely thus far, and we look to wrap it up in the near future. Thank you.
It's a battery factory in that case, as I'm told. And, you know, when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, you know, complex things, whether it's battery manufacturing or computer manufacturing or building ships. So we're going to look at that whole situation. We have a lot of industries that we don't have anymore, and we're going to have to train people. And the way you train people is bring people in that know what they're doing and let them stay for a little while and help. So I'm going to look at that. It's a very interesting situation that took place in Georgia. And we heard about it yesterday. At the same time, ICE was doing right because they were here illegally. But we do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves. Does that make sense? Right?
Vehicles apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
If not racist, why racist shaped? This woman is claiming to be the woman who called on the Hyundai, let's say it correct, plant in Georgia. Called ICE. Said she called because of horrible working conditions. Heifer, if that was the case, you would have called OSHA, not ICE. South Korea had 22 active projects. They have put a halt on all of them until this is figured out. If I were them, I'd move half my shit to Mexico, wherever else. That's a good jumping off point for shipping to the U.S. Yeah, if not racist, why racist shaped? In years to come, that video and that woman will be shown as the beginning of the end. You just pissed off one of our closest allies and started an international incident. But it's not about racism.
I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
So just to be clear, what you're proud of is hundreds of people being ripped out of a Georgia factory in one of the biggest ICE raids in history. 475 people, most of them South Koreans, were detained. And here's the thing. Hyundai already confirmed none of them even worked directly for Hyundai. Hyundai, that's how you pronounce it, by the way. They were subcontractors. Many were here on expired visas, not illegals hiding in the shadows like you're trying to sell. Translation? You didn't even expose a massive criminal conspiracy. You just disrupted lives, families, and jobs, and you're bragging on here online like it's a badge of honor. Maybe instead of clout chasing ICE, you should chase a history book.
I really don't understand the ICE raid on the Hyundai power plant. It's so comically illogical that my first thought was somebody close to Trump from within his organization is trying to sabotage him by giving stupid instructions to ICE. Because one of the main reasons for tariffs is to encourage foreign companies to operate in US soil. And not for nothing, like that's a valid way to use tariff. All my liberal friends became like the most obnoxious version of someone who's taken Econ 101, like, oh, tariffs get passed straight to the consumer. No, sometimes companies like Hyundai decide to build a factory in the USA to get around the tariffs. I'm not bringing that up to say like the tariffs were like a win. I don't know what the net effect of that was. But Hyundai building a plant in the USA to hire US workers to produce batteries for them to sell, that is literally the textbook scenario of success with the tariff. Literally exactly what you want. And then he raids it with ICE and gets rid of the people. The Koreans were there to set up the factory, which is harder than working at the factory, right? Is setting it up for the first time, and then train US workers to do the job. I tend to give people credit. Like Trump winning the 2016 election, a lot of you are too young to remember this. Like in 2015, Fox News and the Republican Party did not like him. He had to beat the Republicans, and then he had to beat Hillary Clinton to become president for the first time. So I've never thought that he was dumb. I don't think he's a mastermind, like, oh, 4D chess, like, you know, like I've seen those memes, like his supporters, like, I don't think that. But he's not dumb. But now I'm thinking that he might actually be. And everything else was like a crazy, happy, lucky accident. Like, that's very hard to believe. I think he was smart, and now his mind is starting to go. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what did he think was going to happen? Like, right or wrong, I can't even understand what his thought process was.
Bueno amigos, esta es una noticia en desarrollo. En Savannah, Georgia, se está llevando un operativo de inmigración de ICE que cayó en una empresa de la compañía Hyundai. Como les vuelvo a repetir, esta es una noticia en desarrollo. Como ustedes pueden ver acá, hay algunos videos, aquí les voy a dejar uno, pero este es el panorama que se ve ahorita mismo en esta compañía. Es en una compañía en Savannah, Georgia, en la compañía Hyundai.
All yours.
Warrant for this entire construction site, okay? We're Homeland Security. We have a search warrant for the whole site. We need construction to cease immediately. We need all work to end on the site right now.
Karens don't call the manager anymore. They call ICE. And in Georgia, that phone call shut down a whole plant. So over the weekend, ICE raided the Hyundai plant in Georgia. And you know who set it off? A woman named Tori Branham. Yeah, Tori picked up the phone and called ICE like she was reporting noise in the neighborhood to the HOA president. But no, she was reporting workers. And here's the kicker. She's running for Congress as a Republican. Now, here's the part they don't really want you to know. Most of those workers from the raid were not undocumented. They were actually here legally through a government program. The government knew it, and Tori knew it too when she made the call. But still, ICE showed up anyway. Because see, let's be real. None of this is ever about legality. It's about making sure folks know they're not welcome. And that, you all, is the American-made truth. When Karens run out of neighbors to call on, they go call the feds. Because see, Karens are American-born, bred, and raised. And their natural habitat is other people's business. So while Tori is out here weaponizing ICE as her campaign commercial, you need to understand the bigger picture. This is what happens when xenophobia isn't just tolerated, it's actually rewarded. The system doesn't need you to be guilty of anything. All it takes is one phone call from a wannabe congresswoman, and boom, lives flipped upside down. So Georgia residents, y'all better pay attention, because if this is what Tori does as a resident Karen, imagine what she'll do with a seat in Congress.
To that bitch that called the ICE raid on the Hyundai building, I hope you have the day you deserve. It really just lets me know how stupid people in America can be. She seemed to be confused that they were all South Korean. You didn't do the research to know that that's a South Korean company? To know that they were over here to teach the Americans how to do the jobs? That they had received permission to come over to work on this construction site to then teach Americans how to do this job? That now the Americans cannot get because you've kicked 475 of their workers back to South Korea. So now they're stopping the project. So now 9,000 jobs are lost because of this dumbass racist bitch. I'm so sorry. America needs a reality check, like quick, because they think they're the biggest and the baddest. And unfortunately, babes, y'all are the dumbest and the fattest.
To that lady who called for ICE to go and raid that Hyundai plant over there in Georgia, I hope you have the day that you deserve. They detained 500 workers, and out of 500 of those workers, 450 of them was South Korean. Okay, so let me get this right. So South Korea opened up that plant in Georgia to bring business to the U.S. and to bring jobs to the U.S. And they sent their qualified people to train Americans on how to do that job. And yet they got detained. Not only possibly did you just cost the state that you currently reside in billions of dollars, but if South Korea decides to cease operations and just shut the whole damn plant down? Did you think that far ahead? See, that's be your problem. Y'all don't think that far ahead because you can't even see past your own nose. So you're talking about, oh, it's going to open up over 400 jobs for Americans. Ain't gonna be no job if the plant not there anymore. I mean, if over 400 jobs was opened up to Americans, who gonna train them? Y'all just detained their trainers.
Hello, and happy Sunday to you guys. So, ICE did a raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia. I want to say it was yesterday. If not yesterday, it was the day before. And they detained over 475 people at this plant. So far, they said this is one of the biggest busts they made in one particular area. So far, allegedly. The good thing about this, that I have to give the South Korean president a lot of credit. This man came out because 300 of those workers were from South Korea. And he came out and said he is going to send a plane for his folks to bring them back home in dignity and without embarrassment. So I'm not sure. He's made that statement today, so I'm not sure if that's in the transition of coming to get, or they already arrived and they're heading back home yet. But regardless, this man said he will charter a plane to come for the 300 workers that was working at that plant from South Korea. And I have to give that man a lot of credit and, and looking out for his people. Anyway, so ICE continue with, their raids, and we'll see what happens from here. All right? You guys have a blessed Sunday, and I will bring you guys some more news tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday, and I hope you're making some delicious Sunday dinner. All right, bye-bye now, and be safe. Bye-bye.
Brothers and sisters, today we need to talk about a situation that went down at Hyundai plant in the United States. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, carried out raids targeting South Koreans, leading to a number of detentions. Now, this isn't just another story in the news cycle. It connects to a bigger issues about labor, immigration, and how the American system treats workers who are simply trying to survive. For years, U.S. auto industry has relied on immigration labor, whether documented or undocumented. Plants like Hyundai's in the South have been known to employ workers from various backgrounds: Latinos, Africans, Caribbeans, Asians, and yes, South Koreans. Many of these workers are feeling tough, low-paying jobs that a lot of Americans won't take. But recently, ICE has ramped up workplace raids. These raids are designed to catch people who may have overstayed visas or who lack the proper paperwork. At the Hyundai plant, South Koreans became the target. Some were detained and families were disrupted overnight. Now, let's take a step back. Why does this matter beyond the people directly impacted? Number one, immigration raids don't just affect one group, whether it's Koreans in this case, or Mexicans, Haitians, Nigerians, the Jamaicans, or Guatemalans. The system works the same way. The government sends a message that immigrant labor is needed when it benefits corporations, but immigrants themselves are disposable when it's politically convenient. Second, these raids create fear. Workers, regardless of where they come from, start to feel unsafe. Even those who are undocumented may feel like they could be next. And that kind of fear keeps wages low and prevents workers from organizing for better treatment. Third one, it exposes the contradiction in America's relationship with migration labor. On one hand, companies profit from immigrant workers. On the other, those same workers are criminalized by the state. This isn't new. In the early 20th century, European immigrants faced raids and deportations. In the mid-20th century, black migrants from the Caribbean came to America for labor, faced discrimination and deportation threats. More recently, Latino workers have borne the brunt of ICE action. What's happening to South Koreans at Hyundai shows us that the immigration system doesn't discriminate when it comes to targeting. It cycles through groups based on the moment. And history teaches us the government will pit communities against each other so long as it keeps attention away from the corporations and policies at the root of the problem. We also need to ask, why are migrants at plants like Hyundai in the first place? It's about economics. Immigrant workers often accept tough jobs with long hours and low pay. Companies like Hyundai benefit from this. They get cheap labor while keeping their factories running at maximum profit. But when ICE comes in, it disrupts not just families but also the production line. It shows the hypocrisy. Corporations depend on these workers, but the government punishes them. Brothers and sisters, let's not forget the human side. Families are torn apart. Children left wondering where their parents are. People who came to America seeking opportunity are suddenly threatened like criminals. It's easy to talk about immigration in abstract terms, but we need to remember these are human beings with dreams, with responsibilities, and with dignity. Think about this globally. Koreans, Africans, Caribbeans, Latinos, we are all connected in this struggle. Migration is driven by global economics. People leave their countries for better lives, but when they arrive in the West, they face walls, cages, and raids. It's the same system, just targeting different communities at different times. So what can we take from the Hyundai raids? They remind us that immigration policy isn't just about legality. It's about power, economics, and humanity. Today it's South Koreans at the Hyundai plant. Tomorrow it could be another group. As brothers and sisters across the diaspora and across the world, we must recognize these patterns, because when we understand the bigger picture, we can stand together rather than letting the system divide us. Thanks for watching, and if it's your first time here, kindly subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.